I am very humble and never ever lose my humility, no matter what.
You know, it's funny you say that because right now it's one of the things that is lacking in the music business, especially reggae. There is not much humility, and I think that it kind of clouds the judgment of those individuals who are not humbled. If you were to give any advice, what would you tell the young artists or those artists who are not quite humbled?
Well, the greatest man and the wisest man has the greatest humility. And it's only because we don't have a little knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
about a lot of things. Because it doesn't make sense exalting yourself, because the Bible says when you exalt yourself, you become a base. But when you humble yourself, you will be exalted. So it's just a matter of knowing, and a lot of the artists need to read more, especially to read their Bibles, and they would be more aware and more conscious of what is happening, and they would also know that when you are called and have a God-given talent, and you are called to be in the position that you can communicate to the world through the medium of the music, it simply means that you have chosen and you are blessed, because it's not everyone that can communicate to the world, especially through the medium of music. And you have to make sure that when you are doing this, you are contributing in a positive way to teach and educate and uplift people. That is what it's all about. That's why God called upon the singers and players of instruments, because He knows that we are the ones who can spread the gospel of the music and send the message to the four corners of the earth. And this is what we need today, especially today's generation. If we're not contributing in the music business positively to teach, especially the young people, then we're just going to fall by the wayside. And, I am making sure that I am doing what I am here to do. I know what my portion in this life is, and it's through the medium of the music I'm going to do it. And I would never like anything to be on my shoulder that when the time comes, it is said that Marcia Griffiths did not deliver, in the proper way. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So the advice I want to give to my colleagues in the business, especially to the sisters, the message and your utterance is the most important thing. And if you are not sending positive message to people to heal souls, then you are definitely not on the right path. That's a message I want to give to every single one.
I hope they are listening because that was just such a powerful and profound message that you've just imparted. And I myself will also try to follow in the footsteps of what you have just said, because that is the ultimate goal for all of us in order to get the solidarity that we need to and the respect that we need. It is best that we humble ourselves, because if we don't humble ourselves, then maybe we will be humbled, and we don't want to take it
That's
to that,
right.
and we don't want to take it to that extreme. Thank you for sharing that with us. You actually started out with Byron Lee, and then you moved to Studio One. Can you share that experience with us, because that was such a long time ago, if you can remember?
Well, I have been talking about this old. It's like a song in everybody's mind right now, because I've said this so many times. It was a blessing for me to have started on a professional level, because I went on stage Easter Monday morning with Baron Lee and the Dragonaires.
Wow.
Discovered by Philip James, the late Philip James of the Blues Busters. He
Yes.
heard me singing one night after he was visiting his girlfriend, and insisted that I go on stage Easter Monday morning, but the show was already planned. So Byron was not too pleased that he went to him and telling him that he saw this little girl. I was just 10 years old. He saw this little girl and he wants her to come on the show. And Byron said, no, my show is already planned. Anyway, cut a long story short, I went to the rehearsal and did rehearse one song, Carla Thomas, No Time to Lose.
Yes.
So I went on stage in the morning. My father accompanied me to Carb Theatre, and it was my turn. So when I went out on stage, I remember standing there and waiting for the music to start because that song, No Time to Lose, it starts with a guitar. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the guitar to start the song, and I am there standing and I can't hear nothing because I think they purposely
Yeah.
planned to really mess me up that morning because they didn't want me on the show.
Initially, yes.
Yes, they didn't want me on the show, so it was a deliberate thing. So being a young little girl, I don't know, I mustn't look around at the band. So I'm looking around at them, and the audience started getting uneasy. And even from that young, tender age, I knew that God was with me even then because I heard a voice saying, you better start singing. So I just started singing the song, and they had to follow me every step of the way. And when I started singing, if you drop a pin in the theater, you could hear it and then every slur I take and every turn, because those days when you are inspired by a singer, a female singer like Aretha Franklin, Dionne Warwick, or Carla Thomas, you want to sing exactly like, do everything, you dot every I and you cross
Cross
every
every
T.
T.
So I was just imitating Carla Thomas. So my audience was just overwhelmed by me doing all the slurs and doing the harmony at the same time. So the theater just went up in, I can't tell you, it was unbelievable. It was an overwhelming moment for me.
And
And
this,
when I was finished there, boy, it was something else. Of course, Philip James was out of his mind because he had proven to them that it was really worth the while, putting me on the show. So that's how everything started. And the very same day I went to Studio One, met Mr. Dodd, and I went straight in the studio and started recording at Studio One.
wow.
Well, of course, the rest is history.
You- Hold up a second. Is this where you, what did you did feel like jumping at Studio One?
Yeah, when I went there, Mr. Dodd was, of course, so impressed that I didn't get an audition at the time. I just went straight in, and he wanted so bad for me to get a hit song that what he actually did was putting me, in combinations with every single male singer, almost every male singer that was there. I did combinations with Tony Gregory, Bob Andy, Bob Marley, Free-Eye, the late Free-Eye, Jeff Dixon, just to name a few, just seeking for a hit song. But it was not until 1967 that I got my first number one song, Feel Like Jumping.
That song, I think, was it, what year exactly was that song out? In
1967.
1967. So, and that, you said you were around age 10 at that time?
No, I was age 10 when I went to studio,
When you did with Baron
1964.
Lee. You were about
Yes.
13 that time.
I was 10 years old when I went on stage with Baron Easter Monday morning, 1964. I was accompanied by my father every single where I went.
You see the purpose of dads, and I can't tell you how much I
Yes,
love my father.
yes. And eventually when I met Bob Andy, and we became intimate friends, maybe sometime when I met him, he started writing for me all the songs I did at Studio One: Melody Life, Truly, Mark My Word, Tell Me Now, Feel Like Jumping. All those songs are written by Bob Andy.
I was about to jump into that because I had it as a rumor that you actually did have a relationship with Bob Handy, but you just clarified that for us. That you
Yes,
did.
I did. No, when I met him first, there was no relationship. But eventually, after writing songs and the kind of songs that he was giving me to sing, I was kind of looking into the lyrics.
Yes,
And
yes.
then, because I was a little girl then, and he was a young person, but he was a couple years older than me. And then we became intimate friends. And even at that stage of my life, I again say that God wanted me for a purpose, because had I not been, friendly with Bob at the time, God knows what would have happened, because I'm a young girl in a male-dominated business, vulnerable to all the musicians and artists, and everyone have eyes out there for you, like a shark. So here comes a Bob Andy now, He was like a guide, a father, of everything in one, and he was very, very jealous. So I couldn't even look on anyone. So he went every single place that I was performing, and he was always there. And the musicians were very upset because he wouldn't leave me an inch. I remember we went to Clarendon when I was singing with not the Scatterlights, members from the Scatterlights,
Mm-hmm.
toll vendors at Studio One. I was performing in Clarendon one night, and Bob Andy was there with me. And I remember the musicians left me in Fair Clarendon with Bob Andy. And they say they were not responsible for singer and boyfriend, only singer. So I was left in Clarendon without a cent, and we had to just stay under that big tree right in the square there until daylight,
Aww.
bomber ride coming into town. Those are some of the things that you encounter on this long
Journey.
that
Yes.
I really did in this music business.
I know because I saw a video of the song you did, Young, Gifted and Black, with Bob Andy. You were quite a beautiful young woman then, so I can understand and identify with everything that you have just said to us. How jealousy was, and the fact that yes, you were probably the prize of everyone's eye back in those days.
Well,
So
of
I can
course, every
understand.
young girl that comes along, a man will always, look and, but,
What was it like for you as a female in those times?
well, as I said, it was male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So, at that time, I met Sister Rita
Mm-hmm.
at Studio One, and I met Hortense Ellis, so for me, it was not easy. As I said, it's a male-dominated business, and you have no talk. There's no money coming in. We used to go to Studio One like 9 in the morning. It's like a clocking 9 to 5 job.
Wow.
Everyone meets at Studio One, and we just go in the studio and just record every day.
How?
And
Go
there's
ahead.
no money, so we get one Bruce's patty every day, and we are
No.
very satisfied. And I will say this today.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons that I honestly believe our songs will live forever, because those songs in that time, when you go in the studio, you're not thinking about money or anything. You just want to express yourself.
It was a
All the
passion for the
ingredients.
music. It was a passion
Yes,
for the music.
you just want to go in the studio and just express yourself. All the ingredients that was put in those songs were so pure. All the sincerity, the honesty, the love, and everything was just so good.
Well,
And those songs will live forever.
we
You know?
and I guess basically where the passion is, you'll find longevity and you'll find relevance, because you must know that over the years, I think it's like 4 decades for you, or 3, you have remained relevant throughout the years. Every year actually you've been bringing out something, and that has that has reflected in the work that you have done. Because I think when most female artists comes out, they try to sing one of your song, they try very much to emulate you, so you have already set that precedence for everyone else to follow, and
Well,
it's not so much of a bad thing.
as you say that, it brings me to say that one of my greatest achievements today in the business is to hear all these female singers acknowledge that I have been their inspiration and their role model over the years. It's such a wonderful feeling. No money in the world could buy a feeling like this. To hear every single one, no matter how young they are today, people like Elaine, Nadine Sutherland, and just to name a few,
Mm-hmm.
every single one of them would acknowledge the fact that I have been the person who inspired them. It's such a wonderful feeling.
Absolutely. That's like you feel as if your job was well done, and you feel like mission was accomplished.
That's
Which is
right.
going to take me to another question now, which I want to talk to you about, because you did make mention of meeting Rita and Hortense Ellis at that time. Now, how did you become a part of the I3?
Well, that's a long jump, but I remember I met Judy Rita at Studio One in '64, but
Mhm.
Sister Judy never started singing as yet. But when she started singing, somehow we happened to meet. Up until this day, I can't. I don't understand. It was just like something ordained. It was not a coincidence that we all met up at Studio one day to do some harmonies on. Mr. Dodd invited us to come in and do some harmonies on some tracks he had there, Judy, Rita, and myself. So that day when we met there, I had some performances at the House of Chen for the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I remember asking Judy and Rita if they would come and do some harmonies for me, and they were so happy to come. So we ended up at House of Chen, and at the end of my performance, we decided to do a little jam session on some Sweet Inspiration song, because Sweet Inspirations was very popular in Jamaica at the time. And the audience loved it when we did the Sweet Inspiration songs, and everyone encouraged us to do a group. And then we said, yes, let's start a group. And would you believe, at that particular time, that's why I'm saying, I3 coming together was not a coincidence. It was ordained by Almighty God Himself. Because
Mhm.
at that particular time when we came together, started working as a group,
Mhm.
immediately when we came together and decided that yes, we're going to do it. That was the same time that Bob, Peter, and Bonnie, which is the original Wailers,
Mhm.
were having some differences for whatever reason I really didn't know. And Bob invited us to come in and do Natty Dread. That was a single. We went in and we recorded Natty Dread. It was a number one song. Then we did Jaliv after his Imperial Majesty passed, and then it was a hit as well. So we ended up doing the entire Natty Dread album. And
Wow.
I'm saying to Rita and Judy, you notice when we start working with Bob, everything is just,
Flowing.
green light. Then we started touring with Bob, and then we became his three little birds. And, those are moments that I will always remember in my lifetime. You
Meeting
know?
Bob Marley, like you said, meeting Bob Marley, was he then Bob Marley, the famous Bob, or was he the upcoming Bob Marley?
Well, at the time, of course, he was the upcoming Bob Marley, because I remember having some international exposure even before Bob, was internationally known out there, because I had Young, Gifted, and Black with Bob Andy, which went to the number 2 spot on the British charts.
Mhm.
So we toured England and Europe extensively. Then when Bob went to London, I remember when he came back to Jamaica, he was telling me, how big we were in England and all that. And I said, boy, because we had already gone there to do Top of the Pops, do some shows in England. So Bob was really, Bob, upcoming Bob Marley. But let me tell you something. From the very first day I met Bob, I knew that that man was special.
Mhm.
Bob didn't have to pass for me to know that he was special. I saw something when I met Bob. Something was there, and I really couldn't put my hands on it. He was just different from everyone else. He
In what
spoke.
sense, though? Different in what sense? You mean his knowledge, or
No,
his singing?
the
Uh huh.
things he did was different from everyone else, and even the things he said. He spoke different, and he did everything different. Even in the studio, when normally we are going to do some harmonies, and harmonies would be, like a ooh or a ah, Bob
Mhm.
would find something out of this world that I would look on him in amazement and said, how did this man come up with something like this? Because I would never think about anything like that. He was just different. Knowing him,
Mm.
traveling with him, working with him, and he's the one who opened my eyes to realize that the music was not just entertainment. It went much deeper.
For him.
Yes, because his music was his entire life. There was nothing that came before his music. So when I saw how serious this man took his music, I was shocked. And then I started realizing that no, but this thing is serious, and
Mhm.
this is a serious business, because your utterance and the the message that you are sending out there to the world is so important, then that was when I straightened up and pull up my socks and said, no, I have to make sure that everything I'm sending out there, everything that I utter, I have to make sure it is something positive that's going out there, because the word take unto itself flesh and it goes out there and manifests. And I
True.
want to be the person who is going to be contributing to my people to soothe their souls, to touch souls, and to heal souls. So Bob is the one who really opened my eyes when I saw how serious this man took his music.
He was
When I
inspired you.
he is my inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to Zimbabwe and I saw everyone running for their lives, including us, when we didn't know what was happening. And
Yes,
tear
tell us
gas
about
was
that
used.
incident in Zimbabwe. What really happened on the stage?
Well, we didn't know until everything was almost, finished. I smelled something very strange, and I looked around, and I see everyone just kept playing. So I eventually figured that, something was wrong. But then when we realized it was tear gas,
Wow.
Prince Charles had just, entered the stadium at the time because Mugabe was just, going into power. So we didn't know what was happening. We didn't know if it was because they had, all black people in one place and something drastic was going to happen, because we are strangers there, and ever since I was a little girl, I usually hear my grandfather talking about Rhodesia, and it was always war. So I'm saying, my God, is this where you come to take my life in Rhodesia?
Oh
Because
my.
everyone was just running for their lives. I saw kids being trampled.
Oh
It was a
my.
stampede in the stadium.
Mm.
And we all ran off the stage and just run for our lives. Running on everybody too until we finally reached outside. But we were running with this guy, Joe Stablisky, who is originally from Zimbabwe.
Mm-hmm.
So we wouldn't leave Joe. So we eventually, when we were running, we saw soldiers with masks and war tankers ready for war.
Oh Lord.
Eventually, no, we reached on the street. Not we just started thinking about Bob now and said, my God. And Ziggy was on stage. He was like about 4 years old.
Jeez.
And we were saying, my God, what happened to Bob? But we never stopped running until we reached the house that we were staying. Then we started worrying and wondering, what happened to Bob.
Where was
And
Bob?
would you believe that Bob was ready to go down, whatever the reason was and whatever the cause he stood there, and I don't know how he survived the tear gas with Ziggy being a little baby boy.
Oh
But
my.
he stood there and he was ready to go down with his people for whatever reason it was. And we found out eventually that it was a group of people outside called themselves the freedom fighters who heard Bob Marley in the stadium and they was not allowed to come in, and they just flattened the fence. So that's when they used the tear gas.
Okay.
But that was after the fact we found out what was the reason. And I can't believe that Bob went back on stage and finished his performance.
Oh.
That,
Stellar. Stellar.
At the end of the evening, when he finally reached the house where we all were staying, and he saw all three of us, I felt so bad. He looked on all three of us and he said, now we know who are the real revolutionaries.
And let me tell you something. I can't. The way you were speaking just now, you brought me back there with you. What year was this?
I
Hello?
think it was 1980, I believe.
Wow.
Yes.
You brought me to Zimbabwe with you just now, because I actually saw myself running through that crowd with you. And if
Oh my
let me
Lord,
tell you
it was
something.
something else.
uh
Trust me, it was something else. But when I saw how that man stood up there and, he wasn't going anywhere.
oh my goodness. So then we have something that we can talk about Bob Marley and the way he stood up, because I'm quite sure many people may not have heard this story before. In tear gas, he stood on stage, did not move, was willing to go either way, and
I'm
yet
telling you.
After the
I am.
incident, he went on stage and he performed, and that's what you're telling us about this great man. As we may know, well, you knew him personally. We're just hearing of some of the things that he did, and his music continues to live on in the same sense that yours will. But you did say Bunny Wailer at the time and Peter Tosh, they were all separating at that time. Did you get an
Yeah.
opportunity to meet those two men?
Oh, we went to, Bonnie and myself went to kindergarten school together. We
Oh,
held we held hands going to school in the mornings. He was a little ahead of me still, but we used to walk hand in hand to school, kindergarten. So when I went there in '64, I met Peter, Bob, and Bonnie. And Bonnie was the only person that I was really, familiar with there at the time.
okay.
But I met all three brothers. They were right there, so we became like one family at Studio One.
Actually, we have this is interactive radio, Miss Griffiths, and someone in the chat room is actually expounding on the story you just relayed to us, where you said that Bob Marley stood in that stadium, did not move, and this is what the person said. Many people say he's not a hero. That sounds like one to me. And someone else followed up on that saying that's a real talk. So we want to thank you for sharing that story, because I now have a story to carry on in the future to
Well,
tell
if
my
only
children.
someone with hero qualities would stand in something like that, not knowing what was happening, he could have lost his life. It could have been something different that it was just strictly war. Because that's what we thought.
And then
It's only people with hero qualities would stand in the middle of something like that.
and then still found some humor in it, saying he knew who the revolutionary
That's
people were.
right. He just draw one of his lines on us. Now we know who are the real revolutionaries. I mean, we couldn't say a word. We just,
You were
you
just
know,
humbled.
yeah, we couldn't say a word.
Okay, I want to talk to you about this song that probably took you around the world, probably brought the name Marcia Griffiths at a larger platform. I want to talk about Electric Boogie. Tell me about that song and what
Well,
really
a
happened
lot
with
of
that
people,
song.
I'm telling you that a lot of people don't even have the slightest thought that that song is done by someone like me, a Jamaican. It's more, they are thinking that is some American singer or something like that, because a lot of people don't know I'm the person who do that song. But
I
was that song has a long story, but I don't know if we'd have the time to get into it.
to it.
But it was written and produced by Bunny Wailer
Mhm.
because of the relationship that we have had over the years. Bunny always visiting, and I three again went to Toronto to do a performance, and of course, a lot of the female and in the business at that time would 9 out of 10 times we go to perform, and we are not being paid. It's just hard luck stories, and because women are usually seen for their favors, and we usually use our heart instead of our heads. So nine
True.
out of 10 times we are not paid. So this is one of the another performance that we go on, and we were paid like 700 Canadian dollars each.
Wow.
I I went downtown with my 700 Canadian dollars, and I saw this rhythm box, and I just decided I fell in love with the rhythm box, and I decided to invest in this rhythm box. So I bought the rhythm box and took it home, and I found some fantastic sounds on this rhythm box. It
Mhm.
had everything that you could ever beat: the cha-cha,
Yes.
the
All these
mambo,
things.
everything, and it had all some a wire and everything, the repeater sound, and I just fell in love with this little repeater sound on the piano. Bonnie came to the house, and he just fell in love with the rhythm box, and he recorded the repeater sound and the beat, took it to Portland where he was living at the time in the country, and the following day he came back with the song, and we went in the studio. This is not a song that we slept on. It was something that was done spontaneously. As soon as it was written, we went in the studio. I learned the song, we recorded the song, and then the song was released in 1982.
That was the first
1982.
time it was released in
The very
1982.
first time that song was released is what was 1982, and it went straight to the number one spot by December Christmas. And at that time they were doing the moonwalk dance like the Michael Jackson thing, that backslide thing.
Mhm.
But Chris Blackwell heard this song and he just knew. Somehow Chris usually can identify a number one song, and he just said, boy, I need this song, but he wanted the entire album that we were doing. And for some reason, I don't know why, Bonnie refused to give him the album, so he got the single. So he wasn't promoting the song. And he said to me maybe a year after that, say, you know what's doing good and I'm not even promoting it? Electric Boogie. It was doing good in Amsterdam, in the Bahamas. It was always going. It was not a song that ever died, but it was not until 1989 while I was on Sunsplash tour.
And this is now 8 years after.
8 years after, I am on the West Coast doing a tour. And the tour is eventually going to come down to Washington, D.C. And I got a call from Dr. Dredd from Ras Records saying that song, they put the dance to the song and it's going to be the biggest thing. And boy, by the time I got to Washington, I was forced to learn the dance and perform the song on stage.
I saw you in the video, and if you don't mind, I want to trump up this song for the people out there listening. Just kick in the song in a little bit and let them get to hear the great song, Electric Boogie. And you heard the story just now that Miss Griffiths was giving to us. Just a quick second, Miss Griffiths.
Okay.
It's electric.
You can't see it.
It's electric.
You gotta feel it.
It's electric.
Ooh, it's shocking.
It's electric.
Take it up, Mr. Kelly with the bubble, Mr. Kelly. She's a moving along electric.
She's so got the boogie.
You gotta know it.
It's electric.
Woogie, woogie, woogie. That you can't hold it.
It's electric.
Woogie, woogie, woogie. But you know it's there. Here, there, and everywhere. I've got to move. I'm going on a party ride. I've got to groove, groove, groove. And from this music I just can't hide. Are you coming with me? Come, let me take you on a party ride. And I'll teach you, teach you, teach you. I'll teach you the electric slide. Some say it's a mistake.
It's electric.
Woogie, woogie, woogie. You can't resist it.
It's electric.
Woogie, woogie, woogie. You can't do without it.
It's electric.
Woogie, woogie, woogie. Take it up with somebody. She's a chicken, a feeling crowded. She's a moving along electric.
She's so got the boogie.
Don't wanna lose it.
It's electric.
Woogie, woogie, woogie. But you
Oh, you have me in the studio dancing, Miss Griffiths. You do have me dancing up a storm in here. And I have some people in the chat room who are explaining to me that they too are dancing. They want to start a party right after that song. But it does that for many of us.
You know, that's a good thing about that song. You don't need a partner, and it starts in kindergarten to the home for the age. That's a song that you just have to get up and do. I was watching Oprah one night. I was performing in Montego Bay, and I was watching Oprah with Tyler Perry, and she was saying that she went to this party, and the party wasn't happening, and she went to the disc jockey and asked him if he had the electric slide, and the guy put the song on, and she had a whale of a time. So it's a song that
You-
is in all the weddings, on the ship cruise, every party, just about everywhere. And you know what was a knockout for me, one special moment for me was in Baltimore. I stood on stage performing this song, and I watched 100,000 people doing that dance. And I could hardly perform because I've never seen anything like that. It was like a wave to see everyone just moving at the same time, it was awesome.
Speaking about Electric Boogie, I want to take us now to the fact that you're coming out with some albums. I understand you're coming out with two albums. Do you want to tell us about what is happening with that?
No, it's not two albums. It's two CDs.
Oh, it's not two albums.
Yes.
It's two CDs.
It's a double CD.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one album, but it's a double CD, and one CD is with all the singers that I've worked with over the 47 years, and the other one is all the DJs. And we're talking about singers, people like Barry Hammond, Bunny Ruggs, Barrington Leavitt, Daville, Freddie McGregor, Diana King, Etana, Tanya Stevens,
Woo!
Queen Ifrica,
Woo!
Toots, Bob Andy, just about every single person that I've worked with over the years.
Wow.
And we have people like Buju, Beanie, Gentleman, U-Roy, just to name a few. It's like every single one that I've worked with. It's very, very interesting. And the tracks, if I may say so for myself, the tracks are really, really interesting. We have Damien, we have Steve. It's really, really interesting.
So altogether, we're looking at how many tracks are we looking at altogether? About 40, 34.
I think about 36.
Wow.
Yes.
Well then, I also, is that new song with yourself and Queen Ifrica on one of those CDs?
Definitely.
Round and Round. That's another song too that I will play after we're really finished with the interview. You just spoke about collaborations that you did. One of the person you did collaboration was Buju Banton, and we have recently we have seen what has taken place with Buju Banton. If you were to weigh in on that issue to say you want to extend any type of message or whatever it is, what would be something that you would say?
Well, boy, at this stage, I don't know. All I can do, the greatest thing that I know in my life is prayers.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been praying. And when I pray, I usually leave everything in God's hands, because if I'm going to think anything else, then I start doubting.
Trust.
So I
Yes.
know that sometimes we cannot see at that time what God has in store, or what is the reason why certain things happen, but we have to just wait and see what plan God has in store. But I am just always praying for the best. I don't know what else to say, but God, that's the greatest weapon we have today. Prayers is the greatest weapon, and of course the music, because I saw where music released Nelson Mandela from prison.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the singers all over the world started singing songs, in the release of Nelson Mandela. And
Absolutely.
as I said earlier, the word is a power, and it goes out there and it takes onto itself flesh, and it manifests. So we have to just think positive and
continue to pray for him.
Yes, and just continue to pray.
I totally applaud that, and I too endorse that statement. You talk a lot about your faith and such for, which is good, because now you're one of the I3 members. I think Judy Mowatch is now a Christian. What, in fact, how is your relationship with Judy and Rita now?
Beautiful. We never ever relinquish our relationship. We are always in constant. As a matter of fact, we still perform together. On this February 6th, Sister Rita was in Ghana, so she wasn't able to do, but she was doing the Bob Marley's celebration birthday in Ghana. But Judy and myself did a beautiful show at Emancipation Park.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up later on this year, we are performing in London on the celebration of the Whalers.
And when is that? Do you know what month?
It is in September.
September of this year.
Perform together.
Oh.
If we are called for a performance, all we do is come together, and we have a couple of rehearsals and try sharpen up on, whatever we're doing, and we are ready.
Will you be doing any tour for the rest of the year?
I am doing tour on as a solo artist, but not as I3. We're
Okay.
just doing maybe one or two performances as
But
I3
when does your solo tour begins?
in July.
Okay, and in case anyone wants to find out where how they could get the information and where you will be, how would they be able to find this out? Is there a website that they have that they could go to?
I think yes, my website www. Wow, Marcia Griffiths .net.
I will repeat that. It's www. Marcia Griffiths
www.
Marcia Griffiths net, and that's where they
Yeah,
go to find out all the
I
information that they
think
want with your tour.
well, I wouldn't be ashamed to tell you that I'm not 100% sure of that
I
address
will,
that I just gave
but
you.
do you know what I will say? For if you're not sure, then you can just Google Marcia Griffiths and it will come up. I'm quite sure
Yes,
they will find it from there, Miss Griffiths.
right, definitely. But I'm doing a couple of shows in Europe in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm going back on the West Coast. I just did London and the Bob Marley dates in California.
You have some people in the chat room who are saying because of the way I addressed you, I said Miss Griffiths. They said Diana Ross has nothing on you because you know Diana Ross would want it. She had always wanted to be referred to as Miss Ross. But I will say this publicly that Miss Griffiths did not ask me to address her as such. I gave her that title out of
No,
respect.
no. As a matter of fact, sometimes when people address you as Miss whatever, it's like they're saying. I sometimes I don't even know how to sum it up. I just accept plain Marcia.
You will accept plain Marcia, but I'll continue
Yes,
calling you Miss Griffiths. you
I am
deserve
very
you
very
des-
I'm
you
very
deserve
very easy. I'm very easy to get along with. I'm not fussy, and I am a very simple person. Simple
wow.
person. Because something happened in Jamaica before I came up. I stopped right. I don't know if you're familiar with race course right at that corner there where they sell the roast corn and boiled corn.
Yes.
I stopped there to buy a corn, and I was there like evening time when everybody was from work, going home from work, and I stood there talking to a lady who was buying some crab out there, and the girls who was out there selling the corn and the crab maybe overheard the lady that I was speaking to say something, and then she asked the other woman who this was, and I guess she said it was me. So the girl said no, because as far as she concerned, Marcia Griffiths don't walk on earth. So I could never be standing there eating roast corn. It could never be me.
So
And a lot of places that I've been, it's not until I'm gone that people would know that that was me, because I would never go anywhere and exalt myself. I'm just
no,
always very quiet and humble.
you know what? This is what I like about you. I love it actually about you. Even when I called you and I was trying to say to you I was actually interested in getting this done. I just want people to know that she was more than honored. She felt as though she was honored because as an host, Miss Griffiths, I have had artists that had given me the worst time ever just to get an interview. And I'm wondering where is
I
all of this
know,
coming
yeah, I
from?
know.
Where is all of this coming from? I mean, you are there. Somebody wants to bring you forward to your fans, to have your fans get a better understanding of who you are, so to speak. And it seems as if we're begging to do this, and you did not do that with me. You actually said you were honored to come on the
No, but
show.
sometimes I wonder if I am crazy, because I've seen some of these artists who maybe just come yesterday, and they're talking about some simple little things, and it's like a big thing. So I'm saying, wait, I can't understand. I have been there, done that. I sail on cloud nine, and I have never once said it to anyone to say, boy, I did this or I did that, because some of the things I hear these people talk about, I mean, that's like nothing to what I've done or been through. And I've never said it to anyone. I never even tell a reporter from a newspaper to write anything about it.
True. But since you haven't told anyone, would you like to share it with us?
No, I mean, in my journey through the music business over the years, it's things that the experience that I've had, I'm talking, you know?
Yes, and how much you've really lived
Yeah,
the
man, I've
life.
had some really, really wonderful experience. Really wonderful. I met a little 14-year-old boy in Europe, I think it was Sweden, and he came backstage with every single vinyl in the album form that I've ever done. And I was just blown away by this little boy. And this is a little white boy. And he came with the vinyl for me to sign all of them. And
Wow.
that boy just stood there staring at me. And when I hugged him, the boy said, this is the happiest day in his life.
Wow.
And I mean, this is coming from experience because in Europe, I don't know if you're aware, in Europe, it's a real roots
Rock reggae,
music
yes.
that they
Yes,
embrace.
and they tend to really embrace that and the reggae music as it is, the root
Yes,
rock reggae more.
yes. Because Scatterlights, who of course you might have heard about Scatterlights, and
Yes.
whatever members are left from the Scatterlights, they tour Europe every year because they just love that kind of music.
And you see,
You know?
and they would not get much of that done now. There is barely the only time you can hear of these artists is after they have died. Like when we had the passing of Gregory, when we've had the passing of Sugarman, and these people are people who should have been continuously been getting the rave.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all because I will continue to say, give me all the flowers now.
Yes.
Give me everything that you want to give me now because my father usually say, give it to me now because I can't read my tombstone. So let me see it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you know, even great people like Gregory and Sugar and Culture, Joseph Hill, so Dennis Brown, so many, you know, these people, they have done so much and they have contributed so much. These are icons in the music business.
That's what I
and
call them.
I don't think there was any, you know, they were not given their rightful dues.
You know, I had Johnny Osborne in the studio with me recently, and
That's another icon.
he was just so humbled, and he spoke, and he was just so real. And Johnny he didn't even want a rhythm. He just stood up in the studio and he just started singing, and you can just tell that these are the type of performances that we need to bring back, which of course is the next question. How would you tell these artists what would they need to do, the young ones, to stay relevant? How can we look at their music in another 10 years and say, guess what, this song is still great? What message would you tell? What would you say to them in order to stay relevant?
First of all, you know, you have to move with the times, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And once you are moving with the times and you are singing about things that is happening that people want to know about and they want to sing along with it as well, because I usually say they should put the lesson that they teach in the schools, they should do them in music, because as soon as the song is released, the baby starts singing it.
True.
The little baby starts singing it. So it is on your shoulder and it is your responsibility. If you are not going to do something that even the kids in school can sing and they are not ashamed, and it's not something that is going to lead them astray. So this is our duty, but I would advise, especially the female singers in the business today, I would advise them to get good representation, good managers to represent them, because as a woman in the business, when you have good representation, you gain more respect from promoters and producers.
It's true.
And I would, you know, I will continue to say and to beseech to the singers and the players and all the DJs as well, because they're a part of the whole business. It's just the most important thing is our message in the music. There's so many things that we can talk about, worldwide issues that we need to address in our music and our songs to educate the children. So this is what we have to do. I mean, there are a lot of commercial songs that the kids love. But
Yes, it's
as
true.
long as you remain on the right track,
Track. Mm-hmm.
you know, that is where it's at. Because look at Bob Marley, every single thing that he, almost everything, if it's not a love song, is something that is relating to the world issues, and it is relevant today. Everything he sang about is being manifested today in this time. He was like way ahead of his time. We can relate to everything that Bob sang. And, you know, he's always going to be current because even this generation, Bob is being taught in the schools today, which is great. And
Actually,
this
yes, he is
generation
in
can relate to it.
NYU. In NYU, because Vivian Goldman actually teaches at NYU with Bob.
Listen, I help some little kids like 10 and 11 and 12 with homework that they get about Bob Marley and even ourselves, I3s. I help them with work that they get from school.
So you would suggest that they start teaching the music in the schools as well.
Yeah, because the fact that the kids sing along, learn the song so fast.
True, true. Then that's probably something to bring to the drawing board. We could bring it to the table and see how well it would go because I'm quite sure that has been tried before. But it's even in the primary, someone is saying even in the primary schools that they would need to do it. And they're actually saying that back in the days, what you were trying to express to us is that the artist did the music out of the passion, not necessarily for a paycheck, as to why we
Yeah.
had those the music that we had then in comparison to now.
Yeah, it was love and purity and sincerity. Yeah.
Miss Griffiths, is there any message that you would like to impart on your listeners and your fans before you hang
Well,
up with us? I
my
don't want to say
message will
leave.
never change, you know. My message is to send, to feed my people, all my people, my brothers and my sisters, because I know we are brothers and sisters. We are one family. Almighty God is our Father. So we must be brothers and sisters. And I will just continue to feed their souls with music, good music, to heal their souls, to touch their souls, which no doctor in the universe can do. I will just continue to feed them with my music, you know, to touch people's soul and to uplift. That is what I'm here for. My desire from I was a little girl was to be of service to mankind. And I think that is the reason why God gave me a talent, put me in this position, so I can communicate to the world, to touch souls. And I am very thankful that God has preserved me over the years. But then, what would I be if I didn't have the support of the people, my fans and my friends, everyone out there? Because as I said earlier, you know, 9 out of 10 times you perform on stage and it's hard luck story.
True.
No money.
Yes.
But because of the satisfaction from my audience and the way my audience make me feel all the time. A lot of times when I walk on the stage out there, the people would never even imagine that I am not even given a cent, but they're out there sitting down waiting on me to come on stage. You know, they didn't rip me off. I have
True.
a commitment to them, and I have to go out there and deliver from my heart.
And that's how it should be. That's how it should
Yes.
be. Well, of course you should be paid for what you the work you do, but but like you said, when you have the love for the music, and you know you
You have
have
to love
others.
it first.
Yes,
That
you
is
have the
that
love
is
for the
it.
music, and you know you have people appreciating what you do.
Yes.
Then it's
If
best
you
you
don't
just go.
love it, then, you know, you can forget it. You have to love it first. If you don't
Absolutely.
love what you do, then it's not going to work.
Somebody in the chat room is saying, Miss Griffiths, that you are the first lady of reggae music. I have to ask you this question too before you go. Um, a friend of mine who actually, she's a colleague here, she wanted me to ask, if you were to have someone play you in a movie, who would that person be?
I I never I never really thought about that at all. I can't imagine, you know, I cannot imagine.
I think, you know what? I think, but you can never tell. That would be quite fascinating because your story would be quite. We would probably you would probably reveal so much. A book is what we're looking for from you at this point in time, and I hope we get one before at least
No,
next year.
I have started. I have actually started because when you last so long in this business, there is a story to tell.
Yes.
And I have read so many different books from different colleagues in the business. I wouldn't call names right now.
Mhm.
And a lot of the things I read in these books were not so. And I don't see the reason why someone would want to write a book and not
Not
put the
put in
things,
the facts.
the truth,
The facts. Your
the
facts.
facts.
Yes.
So my book is really my life.
So you have actually started the book. I hope we could get a chance to at least see this book by we're now in 2011 by mid 2012. I'm giving you some time because of your tour
My
and all
dear,
of that.
I'll be finished by this year.
Woo!
And don't worry, don't worry yourself. My career is just beginning.
Listen from and
Yes.
I would to endorse that statement because you're
Yes.
still a beautiful budding young lady. The last time I saw
Well,
you.
of course, it depends on how you see it. When you get to my age, you have to take the best care of yourself. You have to eat right. You have
Yes.
to exercise. And my mentor is Tina Turner. And I don't half ready to reach Tina age yet, so I'm just beginning.
Oh, and Tina still look good. She still looks
Oh my
good.
Lord, that
She
woman
still
is
looks good.
fantastic. She is fantastic.
Oh my
Tina boy.
goodness. But
She's my inspiration.
another one of your inspiration, and you see
Yes,
and you notice the
yes.
people whom have inspired you. They are people with substance, people with value. I like that.
That's right.
I like that too because you know what? I'm not a singer, but you've also inspired me, a young person in this business, and I hope moving forward we can only continue to see the best from Miss Marcia Griffiths as you've been giving to us over the years. I want to trump out this new song for the people too before you go. It's called Round and Round. It's a new song. How did you tell it? I just want to hear how this came together with yourself and Queen Ifrica.
Well, Queen Africa as another female that I love and admire. One good thing about what the business, it's no more male dominated. It's like 50-50 now. And I am so proud. I am
Yes.
so happy to see so many female and to know that I am their inspiration. And she is one of the persons who usually say that I have inspired her. And she was so happy to do this song with me because she's such a talented woman and she's a strong. It's not like in the days when I was coming when, promoters or producers walk on you and, push everything down your throat and you have to swallow it. No. Queen Ifrica, Tanya Stevens, these are some strong sisters who stand up for their right. Nobody
Yes.
can. They don't even. They have managers, but sisters like these could easily take care of their business. But they have to have a business person because one is definitely gonna suffer and it's a business. But I'm proud of these sisters. So we came together one evening at Penthouse, started this idea, and then we left it halfway, and then we went to her place, and Tony Rebel, Queen Africa, and myself was there for the evening, getting ideas and putting lyrics together, throwing out this one. We said, no, not this. And we just came up with that song.
Wow.
And then we went in the studio and recorded. So the good thing about it is that we recorded it together. So we had that kind of positive
Yes,
vibration
and you
in the studio.
vibed off each other then, so to speak.
Yeah, we decided that she, as a person who can DJ, I'm saying, you sing and I will DJ. So that's how it came about. So I did a little DJ on the song and she did a little singing,
On the song.
So, yeah, we decided to switch it around.
Wow. I have to cue up this one. Marcia, I wish we could have done this all night. We could have used these 3 hours and we could have talked about so many
Yeah,
different
well,
subjects. I will have to have a
there's
part
so
2
much
with
things
you.
to say.
I
So much things to say.
one of the songs too, so much things to say right now. So we have to probably have a part 2 of this. I want to thank you very much for contributing to the music as a female. And this month we're celebrating the female in the business. And it was a pleasure to have you and for me to have celebrated you and the music that you have given to us, the world, the Jamaican diaspora, the Caribbean diaspora, on an international platform. I am very happy that we did this, and I truly enjoyed this interview with you.
I certainly enjoyed it myself, and I just want to thank you for having me, and thank you for opening your airways to, communicate with me. And I just want to say lots of love and blessings to my fans who are listening right now. I love you truly, and I will just continue to feed your soul with good music.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm about to pump up this song right now. It's called Round and Round, and you heard Miss Griffiths told us about it, how it happened. This is Queen Ifrica and, well, we can say the two queens, right? Queen Ifrica and Marcia Griffiths, Round and Round. Thank you very much, Marcia.
Thank you too.
I couldn't ram them around with me. They must be mad. I couldn't ram them around. Them no bother ramp with me. I couldn't ram them around with me. No, no, no. Yeah, I've seen it every single day when I'm on my way to a place where my journey will be on display. Like magic, the morning kiss the sun. The moon is never done. A new day has begun. Oh. What goes up must come down. What goes in must come out. What goes round will go round and round and round and round. Like the rivers flow, it goes to and fro. Like octaves on the piano. This is the meditation we are meditate.
Free your mind, free your spirit, make it levitate.
We come to teach, uplift, we come to elevate.
No demon can enter, so no touch it gate.
Pre the fire where the woman them a bun.
Marcia Griffiths on the gate.
Fire move up on the drum. And we set the other so the wicked have to run.
Now stop blaze the fire till thy kingdom come.
What goes up must come down. What goes in must come out. What goes round will go round and round and round and round. Like the rivers flow, it goes to and fro. Like octaves on the piano. We try to never get weary yet.
Never get weary.
The mission is not completed yet.
So we keep rolling on. Of the mountain, we continue to climb. The song's not just a rhyme. Can't you see the sun?
What goes up must come down. What goes in must come out. What goes round will go round and round and round and round.
Like the rivers flow,
it goes to and fro. Like octaves on the piano. I've seen it every single day when I'm on my way.
Alright.
To a place where my journey will be on display.
like magic. The morning kiss the sun. The moon is never done.
This is the meditation we are meditate.
Free up your mind, free your spirit, make it levitate.
We come to teach, uplift, we come to elevate.
No demon can enter, so not touch it gate.
Pre the fire where the woman them a bun.
Marcia Griffiths from the kettle.
Fire move up on the drum. And we set the other so the wicked have to run.
Can't stop blaze the fire till thy kingdom come.
What goes up must come down. What goes in must come out. What goes round will go round and round and round and round.
As the rivers flow,
It goes to and fro like octaves on the piano. What goes up must come down. What goes in must come out. What goes round will go round and round and round and round.
like the rivers
You know, I'm enjoying the music so much. I did not even realize the song stopped. But let me tell you, if you're just joining us, this is your girl Judith Kitson, and I'm here. Of course, I'm joined tonight by none other than Mr. Splicerr. You just missed a beautiful interview with Marcia Griffiths. What a wonderful, wonderful, humble, talented, classy lady she is. I am really, really honored to have had her here with me on Eclectic. But I'm going to turn over the turntables. Well, not turntables. I don't know what Splicerr is coming with. I don't know where he'll be working from. But I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Splicerr. Oh, he said he's working from everywhere. And in the background, are we going to cue up Miss Griffiths again? Ooh. Thank you. I see some people. Hey, Tilsa, thank you for joining. Roxy, thank you. CK, Lawman, RHH, Detroit, and I want to give my shout out to Aki. I don't know what is happening. Listen, RHH, I don't have my vest tonight. So, Aki Woman, I hear Aki Woman is not feeling well, and I want to just give my praise to Aki Woman at this time. She's such a wonderful, great supporter of this program, and I'm really concerned for her. So Detroit, please keep me posted on what is happening. I thank you very much. Turning it over to us.
Where do you think you're going? You have to turn it over like you go somewhere.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to the side so I can have you take care of it. You know what? Good evening, Splicerr. It's Saturday evening. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
How is it? How is the weather?
Yes. The weather is good.
The weather is good?
Yeah. Okay, I know say you're looking for your saltfish, but we here.
Yes.
Relax, baby.
You know,
I feel better.
It's Saturday night, darling, and you know what it is?
It's
Saturday night, and we are just trying to keep the music
my peoples.
real. And you must.
Howdy.
You're not bigging up the women. You're not bigging up the women of this month.
Roxy D. Come on. Mama Earth. Oh, you mean? Of course. Y'all know better, man. Anyway, my people, you know what it is. It's Saturday evening, right? Yeah. Saturday evening, so there's a party evening, right? You feel like partying?
Yes, I feel like partying.
You really feel like partying, right?
Yes.
All right. Work week has ended, like they said. So
you keep it locked. I don't know. I'm waiting for you to trump up what you have to trump up.
We'll just dance, play some music, have some vibe, whole of vibe. Maybe chat up a little bit. You never know.
Okay.
Like we normally do, right?
Well, I'll follow you, Splicerr. You're the male. I'll give you the chance to run it. Even though it's our month, it's female, so all my female out there. I see some of the females in the chat room where I just want to say big up yourself, CK.
I can't make that like a human head just slide by still.
Yes.
They always say I phone a month. I always phone a month now.
Okay, Splicerr, it's always a female month, whatever. But this is officially
Women's Month.
It's Women's Month, and I do.
And listen, this is the month that I was born.
Yeah, listen, and I hope
the month that I was born.
Are you showing the ladies love this month, Splicerr?
Every month, we show ladies every day.
Every month, right? Are you doing anything special for the ladies this month, Splicerr?
Of course.
Okay.
Well, I probably do the Earth Day party. Probably. Never know.
A birthday party. Lawman, I see you out there, Lawman. There's another one. You know something, Lawman, it doesn't matter what. I have to big you up no matter what. Young man, you have been doing your thing, still doing your thing. And I want to tell you that I love and respect you. RHH, another one of my good friends out there doing his thing. Who else I see? Wayne, oh my God, Wayne. You know what? This guy came in and he has always supported me. We knew each other from high school. We didn't really mingle very well, but big up all my sit-down people who continue to support me. Shaquita, another lady who is doing her thing out there. Shaquita, we must continue to support Zuri. I think it's Zuri 1. Tell me if I'm wrong, Shaquita. I see Roxy D. I'm not quite familiar with Roxy D, but you know what? I love you, sister, because I see you here and you have been pumping in all type of information and you've been participating a lot since night. So I want to say welcome to you. And I still want to find out what is happening with Aki. Please Please, Detroit D, I want you to tell me what is happening.
Yeah, Detroit, send on, brother, hang on.
Raquel, my sister, another seed on. I didn't even know that was you. Love, love, love. Mwah. But anyways, I'm gonna leave. Splicerr, I want to dance in the studio, and I know there are people out there are looking to dance as well.
You want to dance?
So bring in the music. Dance. Yes, I want to dance.
Go right up, sir.
No, I was about to say something, but I didn't want to be bad.
Get up in the morning, sleeping for bread, son. So that
alright, if you all want to dance this evening, let's start it like this. This is we are bringing from yes to years standpoint. So now, let's up in Marcia Griffiths. Oh, yeah.
succeed at last. Persecution you must bear. We not lose to try to get your share. You've got your mind set on a dream. You can get it for money, mercy, found. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. Yeah, you can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try, try. You succeed at last. Don't you know it? Listen, Rome was not built in a day. Opposition will come your way. But the hotter the battle you see, the sweeter the victory comes. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try, try. You succeed at last.
Run them out of
me say, make a puppy a bit of why you accidentally fall? Is she crying out for ice water?
Somebody said they wanted to dance, right?
I am dancing like crazy.
I check you out and you, I dig you out and you,
Cool girl.
you do me chin, I told you once, and I told you twice. But sweet nanny go to go running belly, me say I make your music be bitter. Why you accidentally fall? Yeah, she crying out for ice water.
What you know about this one, Judith?
That's cool, man. Lego the rhythm. You know, say all this. We started the party. Chicken. Hey. No bedtime, Steve Cape. It's party time.